Hello, fellow Scratchers. Do your games need a little more snazzing up? Well, I'm Griffpatch, and today we are looking at some neat graphical effects that can really take your games to the next level. By combining Scratch's effect blocks and the pen extension, we can transform a flat, boring screen, lifting the foreground away from the background with a stylish outline and shadow. Wow, what a difference! And this works on any costume, vector or bitmap, and even looks good on text. Yeah, it just makes things pop. Now, we could recreate this effect by hand in the Paint editor, but doing so is quite time-consuming and fiddly. What's more, if you want to change your level at a later date, then you have to redo all your hard work all over again. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can replicate this effect using only simple costumes and a bit of funky Scratch code. So what are we waiting for? Let's get scratching. We'll begin a new project. And since Scratchy is waiting here on the stage to greet us, let's focus some attention on him first. Make him nice and big by setting his size to 250. Many of you will already have played with the effects blocks found under the Looks category, but for those who haven't, we will begin with the Set Color Effect 2 block. Make sure to use the Set block, not the Change block for this. Now, change the drop-down to read Brightness. So this starts on a brightness of 0, but if you click this, you'll find that this has no effect on ScratchCat at all. That's because a brightness of 0 means no change. So we can try 50. Click the block and ScratchCat becomes 50% brighter. So things get interesting when we whap this right up to 100. That's full brightness. Again, click the block. And lo! ScratchCat appears to have disappeared. However, this is not quite the case. They have actually become pure white. That's really useful if you ever want to flash the sprite white for any reason. But equally interesting, therefore, is if we go the other way. A brightness of -50 makes our cat 50% darker than normal. And -100 gives us a completely black silhouette of ScratchCat now. That's really useful. Another useful effect I like to use a lot is the Ghost effect. I'll set this to 90. And when combined with the brightness effect, then ScratchCat becomes an almost completely see-through silhouette. Perfect for recreating a drop shadow effect. All we need to do is bring back the original cat costume and overlay it on top. Well, to get back the original costume, we simply use the Clear Graphic Effect block. One click and it's back to normal. But also, gone is our shadow. Okay, so we need both visible at once. So what options do we have? Either we could create a clone of this sprite, or we could, as we are about to do, use costume stamping. For this, we need to enable a Scratch extension. Click into the extensions box at the bottom left of the Scratch window. Now select the pen extension. Nice. Now we have a whole new category of Scratch blocks to play with, but for this tutorial, we are mainly interested in the stamp block here. If we click the stamp block and then drag ScratchCat, you can see it has happily left a copy of itself behind on the stage. This we can repeat as many times as we like, and it's important to note that these are not clones, and the stamped copies are not draggable or movable in the slightest. At least not without clearing and then re-stamping them. If we go full screen, you'll also see that the stamped costumes, unlike clones, are not quite as high resolution. The edges are pixely. That is, they're made up of small, jagged squares. Sadly, there's nothing we can do about this at present. It's just how the pen drawing and stamping canvas works. Anyhow, it still does a good enough job. So bring in the last new block we will be looking at, the Erase All block. Clicking this block does what it says, and it erases everything that has been drawn or stamped on the pen canvas. Okay, let's try and make a shadow from this. Position the cat where the shadow wants to be. Apply the brightness effect. Apply the ghost effect. And then we stamp the costume just as it is. Nice, so we can now move the sprite up. Oh, there's the stamped shadow. We just need to clear the graphical effects to bring back our official sprite. And there they are. And pop them where we want them to finish up. Yeah, there we have a very respectable stamped shadow. So, having done it by hand, let's make it official and turn this into a script. When green flag clicked, erase all. Now I'm going to use a custom block to represent the next steps. Name it Stamp Shadow. We might as well make use of it right away under the erase all block. So, we set the brightness to -100 and set the ghost to 90. Next up, we need to think about how to position the shadow. We want it to be below the current sprite, so why not use a change Y by, say, -20. That will move us downwards. Then we're free to stamp the shadow on the pen canvas. To get us back to where we were before, we can simply change Y by 20 again, the opposite of the -20 we did above. Lastly, clear the graphics effects to finish off. And that's it. So we can test this now by first moving the cat sprite, and then clicking the green flag. Yay! The shadow followed us. Success, and very useful indeed. One thing that is not obvious thus far is how cool the shadow can look on a more funky background. For this, we'll need to click into the stage backdrop and bring up the backdrops editor. I'll start by creating a filled rectangle to cover the entire stage. Perhaps a little less intense blue. And then, in a slightly lighter shade of blue, make some long rectangles. Perhaps rotate them a tad, and then duplicate them in a pattern across the screen. With the Select tool, you can hold the Alt key down while dragging to make copies quickly, or you can just use the copy and paste if you prefer. Great, so look at this. How cool does that look now? And see how the shadow really does have that see-through effect. That's what really makes this lift off the page, so to speak. Okay, click back into the main sprite now, and I just want to add that the ghost number of 90 here, you can change that to anything between 0 and 100, and the result is the shadow will be heavier or lighter. See how much darker 80 is? Yeah, for a shadow I will keep this on 90. Now I think you will agree, that looks great for a sprite like Scratch Cat. But next up I want to show you how cool it can look to enhance your Scratch games by giving depth to your level designs. We can click into the costume editor and start drawing a new costume. This is to be the level of a game, so I'm using filled rectangles to create clean, solid areas for the ceiling, walls and floor. Now, I'm not seeing the entire costume on the stage because I left the size on 250 from earlier. We'd better reset that to 100 and position it at an XY of 0. Okay, so I'll also add a small floating platform here for effect. Nice, this is done, and it was so quick to put together. But man, without texture or outlines, it looks really flat on the stage, doesn't it? Although it's fun that Scratch Cat's shadow is still here. Okay, so click the green flag. And voila! The level is transformed by the addition of our drop shadow. You can see it around the ceiling and the floating platform. That is cool. But it's still not quite as good as it could be. We really would benefit from giving the edge of the level a nice crisp outline to separate it from the background. So, easy right? We just select all the level shapes in the costume editor and give them an outline. Well, yes and no. There's this small problem, that each shape receives its own distinct outline. What we want is the whole level to be treated as a single object, and surround that with the black outline. Sadly, this is not quite so easy. We could spend lots of time handcrafting the levels from one object using the shaping tool, that is often my preferred method, or we could use the trick I used in Apple, and duplicate all the costumes, one with a border and one without, only showing the bordered ones on a layer behind the non-bordered ones. But today, we are experimenting with pen solutions, so I'll remove the object's outlines, and let's see what we can do with scripts. Click into the main sprite code, and let's duplicate the script from our Stamp Shadow custom block. And what I want us to do is to remove the ghost effect completely. Without the ghosting effect, this script now has the effect of drawing a fully black shadow. Yep, there you go. So why is this useful? Well, let us continue and it'll become clearer. Click the green flag to reset. And then let me reduce how far the second script moves the sprite. It's currently at -20. So bring it right back to just -3. And then, of course, a +3 to balance it out. So, if we click the script again. Now then, do you see what we are doing? We've created a black outline underneath the entire level. Of course, it only hugs the underside of the level at present, but perhaps we can do more about that? Without resetting the project, change the first change y to be a +3 and the second to be -3. This way the sprite will be moved up first instead of down. If I run the script, and then the result is rather cool. The top of the level is now being sandwiched by another black line. Now this is really promising, and you should be getting the big picture. If we do this in all directions, then we'll end up with a perfect black outline around all the edges, not just the top and bottom. To make this process easier, we'll rework the scripts to loop around in a circle, stamping each edge as it goes. But if we are to be rotating the sprite in a circle, we'd best set the rotation mode first to don't rotate. Otherwise, our costume will point in all sorts of directions and the stamping won't look right at all. Next we set the brightness, so all the edges will be the same. And here we go. Wrap the rest of the blocks in our repeat loop. I'm going to pick the number 8, as that will cover both the basic 4 directions, up, right, down and left, plus the additional diagonals in between too. Now we should move the clear graphics effects to outside the repeat loop, so it doesn't reset until our drawing is finished. So what next? Well, previously we used the change Y to move the sprite, but since we want to move in different directions, I'm going to switch this for a move in steps block. And we move forward by the same 3 steps as before. Let's switch both these change Ys for move in steps. The last one, of course, moving by -3. Right, all we need to do now is rotate our directions ready to stamp the next edge. We turn right, that is clockwise, by 45 degrees, since 8 45s adds up to 360, a full circle. And that is it, but to let us see this in action, I'm going to temporarily add a wait 1 second at the bottom of the loop. Click the green flag to reset the project, and then click our new script. Oh, black! Oh, it's okay. That got me for a moment. Yes, so did you see the black silhouette moving around before it finished and showed us the original costume in the centre? Let me play that again for you. Do watch to see it moving around in a circle. Did you see it? Well, the finished result is great. A perfect outline indeed, and what a difference it makes to the scene. There's no need for this to be slowed down though, so remove the wait and let's see it again. Green flag and click the script. That was faster, but still not fast enough. We really don't want to see this flicker black at all. Luckily we can fix that. We just need our friend run without screen refresh. For that we must make a new custom block. Name it Stamp Outline, and yes, tick the run without screen refresh. This will allow our repeat loop to run without treating it as an animation. It will just draw instantly. Attach it to our outlining script, and then we'll complete the project by dropping the outline block to just before we then draw the shadow. So does this make it all run super fast? To make testing easier, I'm going to add a key press to erase all. Now I can go full screen, click the space to erase all our effects. Oh wow, doesn't the level look flat again? You forget. And now click the green flag, and pow! The whole level pops out at you. I'm so pleased with that. And yes, it draws really, really quickly. No problems there then. So how about we try this with something completely different? I'll just make a new costume. Oh wow, even this black level with a shadow gives me all sorts of ideas for a cool looking game. Anyhow, drawing something more organic, less rectangular. And run that? Okay, yeah, it doesn't look so great with this bright background. Hold on while I draw something else. Okay. Better. But perhaps a little too bright in the foreground now? There. Well, I don't know, but it's still pretty cool and might give you all sorts of ideas, right? And it works on all sorts of things: text, levels, shapes, and of course, Scratchcat. But all this is leading towards the next episode of our classic Scratch platformer, where I will be using this technique to upgrade the visuals before adding in collectibles, keys, and working doors. So excited for that! If you want to try this code out in your platformer, then just backpack the scripts and drop them into the level sprite. You can trigger them off the Change a Scene event rather than the green flag. Simple as that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've created a studio on Scratch for you to share your creations in, and I'm dead excited to see what you come up with. Just be as creative as you can and have fun. It could be a cool scene or a game, doesn't matter, and I can't wait to see them. If you like this video, then please do smash the like button. And if you want to see more, then subscribe to the channel and you won't miss out on the next exciting tutorial. Until next time, have a great week ahead, and scratch on, guys!